Joining us now on the MARR Army Rock Show, we have got a great band out of Jackson, Mississippi called Framing the Red. We have their vocalist Jordan Newman joining us on the Rock Show for the very first time. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, thanks for having us, Rocky. Man, excited to be here.
So I don't actually even remember how we came across you guys, but as soon as I started listening to your music, I became a fan right away. So for our fans and our listeners here that don't know you yet, give us a brief bio of the band. Like, how long have you guys been around, and tell us about yourselves.
Man, the band Framing the Red, we started out about 8 years ago out of Mississippi, and man, we like to call ourselves a little bit of Southern sleaze rock is kind of our kind of the niche we go for. But man, we've been touring for about the past 6 years from New York to Los Angeles, everywhere in between. We spend a lot of time in the Midwest and in the Southern region, but. Man, yeah, it's been kind of a word-of-mouth thing for a long time, man. We've just been plugging away, doing the tours and getting in the clubs and meeting people, man, trying to keep the name out there as much as we possibly can.
Well, I can tell one thing about your band right away. You definitely do tour a lot. When we first started talking, you were out on a tour, and it looks like you guys just released a boatload of tour dates for February. So tell folks a little bit about the upcoming tour dates.
Man, right now, I tell everybody the best bet is to go to Bands in Town or framingthered.com. We have tour dates ranging from Mississippi all the way up to Michigan. We've got stuff in Florida all the way out to Utah, ranging from the month of February all the way out to the end of May. We're going to be grinding pretty hard for the next 5 months. We're in process of recording our third record. So when we're not touring, we're recording the record, and when we're not recording the record, we're writing music or rehearsing, man. Or touring. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. But man, we are constantly on the road, starting this month all the way out till May, man. We've got dates all across the United States.
Yeah, I saw how many dates you put up there. You guys are touring aggressively now. You mentioned, and that was my next question, you're getting things together for your third album, so give us a progress update. We'll talk about the new single or the latest single in a minute, but where are you in the process with the latest record?
We're tracked 6 songs on the album, and we're writing the second half now. We signed with Malico Music Group back in July of 2017, and Malico is a very historic label. They're one of the last of the independent labels that have been around since, I think, the 60s, man. They've been around for quite a while. They've been responsible for some pretty big hits over the years. But we signed with them, and they put us in the studio, so we're halfway there, as Bon Jovi would say. We're working hard toward it, and we're actually having another writing session tomorrow. So we're going to pound out a handful of more songs to go in and track, and we are hoping by the end of this month, before we really hit the road hard in March, that we're going to be done with the majority of the tracking of it, and we're shooting for an April, early May release date for this third record.
Now, tell us a little bit more about where you're recording this thing. Are you doing this in a studio there in your home state of Mississippi, and who's producing the record?
Yes, Malico, they own their own recording studio, which is on the grounds of the record label office, and we're using their studio, which, man, it's amazing facility, mind-blowing. And the guy that's actually producing this is, his name is Kent Bruce, man, and he's been nominated for, I want to say 7 Grammys, and I think he's won 3. He's worked with the band Heart. He's worked with Skinner. He's worked with who else, man? So many bands that he's worked with.
Name anybody after that? I mean, my goodness.
Right? Yeah. I mean, he's got a list a mile long and of groups that he's worked with and been on the production team for over the years. So he's an incredible producer.
Now, the single, Mississippi Hippie, first of all, great job on that single. Love it.
Thanks, man.
I was kind of, the music video, when I watched it, it was kind of a sad music video. So tell me a little bit about it.
Man, it's the concept behind the song was, and the music video, and the song was, we just wanted something that kind of breathed Mississippi, but when we really got into the lyrics, man, you listen to the lyrics, and it's really about somebody that's kind of troubled, man, spent their life, just kind of as a loner, as the lyrics say, no savior on their side. So, they spent, most of their time rambling, moving place to place. And the music video kind of portrays an unlikely friendship, man, between a younger kid and an older man, the older guy portrays the hippie in the music video, and the kid's kind of there to kind of try to save him, man. Whether it works out so well or not, is the question at hand. But yeah, the music video and the single, man, it's just one of those songs about a rambler, kind of spent their life, trying to just figure things out as they go.
Well, I thought the video was great, and like I said, it was surprised when I watched it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, so I encourage folks to go out there and watch it. It's definitely worth checking out. So,
thanks, man. I do appreciate it.
Now, back in November, the music video to Crossroads came out, and it looks like it was actually literally filmed at a crossroads. So, tell me about that.
Man, that was a track off of the second album we put out in 2016, Love Lies and Alibis. When we signed with our label, they re-released our first two records, and our president, Tommy, he dug that song, and he's like, I really think we should shoot a music video for this. So I live in Delhi, Louisiana, and we have some friends that live on a farm road, so we literally went out there and just shut a road down and did about 4 hours of filming on a gravel T road, man, and we couldn't have found a better location for that one. I think it really kind of set the mood for what that song was about, because it really wasn't so much a concept video as it was a single location, one shoot kind of deal. But I think we really found a place that fit that song when we shot the music video for it.
Now, another song I want to ask you about off of the Love, Lies, and Alibis album is Jefferson City. It seems like your music has a lot of regional or cultural influence in the music. Is it a pride in the region, storytelling, or a combination of the two that finds its way into your music?
I think, man, for a lot of it is I've spent the past 6 years, with touring this band and, man, spending over 200 days a year on the road. So I've found places that I think kind of grabbed me throughout my career, stories that are true, man. One thing I tell everybody when we write songs, anything we write about has happened. So Jefferson City was kind of one of those places in my career, that a lot of things went on in that town when we were playing there throughout the years, man. So it was one of those songs that it just kind of grabbed me as a city, man, and I wrote about it, and along with all of our other stuff, too, man. It's all stories that we've either walked or we've had to live, or kind of put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. But, yeah, Jefferson City, definitely, we have some roots there, man. I've spent a lot of time in that city over the past 5 years.
Now, I had this question prepared, and you kind of almost sort of addressed it, but I want to pursue this again. You called yourself kind of Southern sleaze rock, and I was watching who you've played with. You've played with, you can play with all the heavy hitters like Seven Dust and Blackstone Cherry, Cavo. It's a wide variety of bands, and bands like you guys and Blackstone Cherry and Saving Abel. Do you guys think you've started a separate sort of genre of music?
But you know what, man? I don't want to say that we started a separate genre. I think what guys like us, and it's the guys from Saving Abel and Blackstone Cherry, man, I've met those dudes over the years and become great friends with a few of the guys in those bands, and I think what we have done is we just kind of picked up where a lot of the Southern rock and roll left off in the 70s, man. When hair metal came out, it kind of, I'm not going to say killed Southern rock and roll, but, things shifted in the industry, and people kind of quit playing Southern rock and roll, to say, quit writing it. And then, the guys like Blackstone Cherry, when they came out, they did a great job of stepping back and putting it back in the limelight. And Saving Abel, man, being from the Mississippi, Tennessee area, I think it's something we're all kind of rooted in. It's something that no matter how much you try to escape, you really can't. So I don't think we necessarily created a new genre. I think we picked up where the guys like Skinner and Marshall Tucker and the Headhunters and all those great classic Southern rock bands, I think we picked up where they left off.
Yeah, and the reason I ask, it's interesting listening to you talk, 'cause you're heavier than those guys, you know what I mean? And like when Blackstone and Saving you guys, and I love Skinner. I just feel like you're Skinner with a touch of metal poured in it, you know?
Right. Well, I think if, man, those guys would have kept writing the stuff that they were writing then and it progressed to now, I think it would kind of, I think they would almost be where we are, man, because if you go back and you look at those bands, I mean, you talk about heavy, and people took Black Sabbath as a metal band, and now you take metal, and metal's a whole nother thing. So it's, I think we just kind of maybe put a little bit more gasoline on the fire, to say, I guess we're kind of like Skinner on Nos,
Yeah, the Sabbath is a great example, man. That's a great comparison the way how I think it turned out for you guys. A great answer to that one now. Hey, I was looking back at, to follow your guys' career, and back in 2012, I didn't know who you were, but you released Country Band Man. Is that the song that sort of launched you guys?
Yeah, man, that was a big internet hit for us. We had a song before that off the same record called AO that did extremely well on radio in the South, and that was kind of the beginning of the snowball. And then we shot a music video for Country Band Man, and that one right there just blew up on the internet, man. It grabbed a lot of media attention, and that kind of, started rolling everything, man. So between our first single, AO, and Country Band Man, those two songs really blasted us out of the cannon, and again, man, we've kind of done everything on an underground market for a long time, the word of mouth, and just, I guess, taking the old school approach from the 70s and 80s of pounding the pavement for so long and doing a lot of shows every year, man, and just constantly putting it in front of people. But, no, Country Band Man has been a huge part of this band's success over the years, along, with other tracks. But, yeah, that one right there has definitely been a major, major heavy hitter for us.
So, hey, man, one more thing before I let you go. I want to know a little bit about your vocal roots. Have you always been in this kind of a band, a Southern band? And what is your vocal upbringing? Like, how did you know you had a gift of singing?
Man, I grew up in a family that didn't listen or play to music at all. My dad never played the radio in the car. I've been in multiple different genres of bands. My first band was more, I use this term very loosely when I say pop rock, but it was a little bit more melodic rock and roll. And then Framing the Red formed, and I kind of I always loved bands like Creedence Clearwater Revival and Leonard Skinner and Aerosmith and Led Zeppelin, and man, there was just something about that gritty rock and roll, and so when I finally really started writing music, I found myself getting, dug more and more into that sound. So I pushed, as a vocalist, I listened to a lot of Steven Tyler. I mean, that guy's vocal range is mind-blowing. Oh. So as a singer, I've grown a lot over the years as a singer, and it's because, like any other muscle, I worked my voice to grow from something that was comfortable and constantly test my boundaries. But, I think all those guys from the 70s and the 80s really set the pace for people that want to be vocalists, man. You look at what they did, and that's back when, and I use this loosely, but that's back before you had all this, modern studio stuff that could doctor things up. Those guys had to go in there and, hit home runs, or they were having to start back over from the beginning.
Yeah.
You didn't have the opportunity of, retracking or, tuning your voice. So I spent a lot of time, man, really honing in on, having the ear to match the music. And I think those guys from the 70s and the 80s really taught me a lot.
Well, we've been talking with Jordan Newman. He's a vocalist of a great band out of Jackson, Mississippi called Framing the Red. You can go out and check out their latest single, Mississippi Hippie, right now, and they are in the works of producing brand new music as well. So, Jordan, really been nice getting to know you and talk to you on the show, and I really appreciate you being here this evening.
Hey, Rocky, thank you, man, so much for having us. And again, man, on behalf of Framing the Red, thank you for taking some time out of your afternoon to chat with me.